Hello everyone, X-Walk Hill Bethelite here. And let's talk a little bit about judging. This is something I would love to get insight on. And believe it or not, sometimes I ask questions that I really want answers to. There's things I like to learn more about. Maybe my thoughts on it are incorrect. Let me get a little information or insight on this. So judging, I personally don't see the point of it unless you are a judge, unless you are a police officer, unless you're trying to figure out who to vote for, unless there's a purpose behind it. I don't see the reason for judging. I know that people were taught to judge in the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses for the purpose of shunning. That was the entire purpose of forming all these opinions about people. It was for the purpose of shunning them, not speaking to them. That was the whole reason that we were taught to judge. And I notice there's a lot of it that still goes on even after we leave. And then my question then is, well, what do we use it for? Like after we've left, again, unless you are a judge, you know, you got the little black robe and you sit and you got the little gavel or hammer, whatever you call that thing, and you say, you know, court is in session, or you're on jury duty. Once you've left the cult, what is the purpose of the whole judging thing? I'm trying to really figure this out, because people do it online. I mean, it's not even that they're judging people for the purpose of friends, purpose of trying to figure out if they're going to be friends or not. People just judge people online. They don't even know them. I mean, I don't know what you do with this judgment. I don't know what the purpose is behind it. I would completely understand that if you were dating someone and you were judging their actions as to whether or not you're going to continue dating them, or if you were going to move forward with marriage or something to that effect. But what the cult teaches is aimless judging. I mean, it's just aimless judging. You leave the cult and you're judging somebody clear across the world based off something you didn't saw online or something like that. This person doesn't know you from Adam. And then there's this judging. There's this, I need to state this person is right or wrong. But that sentence, that statement doesn't amount to a hill of beans. There's nothing you can do with it. It doesn't affect the person at all. It's empty judging. It's carrying something seemingly from Watchtower that people learn for the purpose of shunning, and then we don't shun. Well, there's probably people that still shun, but then just using it all willy-nilly. And I see it in discussions that I have with people, and I'll be talking to someone about this or that event, and what'll dominate the discussion is, well, that was bad. I'm like, okay, that's for the courts to decide. Why are we talking about this? I'm talking about the event, trying to get more insight on what happened. Not whether or not a person thinks it's bad or not. Like, what do we do? What do we do with that information? Is there somewhere online that you can go and submit that was bad and send it to a court somewhere, and that'll affect the verdict, or that'll affect the people that evaluate people's psyche, their psychological condition? Do we put that is bad in a website, send it out to the person, and then they decide whether or not the person was sane or not? It's like pointless. We're not in a position to decide anything for anybody else. But we were taught to do it anyway in the cult for shunning purposes. Now, if you're a Christian, I don't understand it, because I figure the Bible's talking about not judging other people. Didn't the Bible say God judges if you're a Christian or if you're religious? Doesn't the Bible say that God is the person who judges? Why? Because from a Christian standpoint, God is in a position to do so. Not just random people. God is in a position to read minds or evaluate a person's psychological condition, read hearts, evaluate a person's intention, look at the whole situation, and then decide whether or not that person's going to heaven or not. Even in the case of a Christian perspective of judging, when God does it, it's not just for no purpose. It's not just to say that's bad or that's good, and there's no result one way or the other. It's to decide whether a person's going to heaven or not, or if they're getting blessings or not, or you know what I mean? There's a reason behind it, but I'm talking about just the empty judging. For example, if one of you were to put a cuss word in the comment section and I comment below, that's bad. Let's say I think cussing is bad, or something to that effect. You're not getting locked up for it. You're not, your employer ain't gonna withhold a check because you cursed, or you know what I mean? You're not gonna get fined for it. I mean, if I have something against cursing, I would just, remove the curse words from the comment section. But the words, that's bad, are as empty as all get out. And but I hear it so often when we're talking about events. Well, first of all, I don't excuse this, and no one asked you to excuse it. You don't have the ability to excuse it. You're not a judge. You're not in the court. You have nothing to do with this, with the person's judicial standing at all. We're not in the Kingdom Hall anymore, so we're not in a room with a bunch of guys trying to figure out whether we're disfellowshipping anybody. We're just judging for no reason now. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about it, or if this judging thing is something that I'm supposed to be employing. Well, I just need to know what I'm doing with it. The only thing that I've seen that happens as far as online with the judging and whatnot is people just start arguments. Keep in mind, a lot of our community are in touch in different states and things like that, but they're primarily in touch just online. Oftentimes somebody you don't know, have never met, will be friends with because we're from the same community. And oftentimes the judging is just, there's nothing that occurs from it other than arguments. Online arguments with people we don't even know. It's not even really about whether they're going to be our friends or not, because we never met them before. It's just judging for the purpose of just arguing online. Sometimes in our community is what'll happen. Just to argue. Somebody will make a post on Facebook and we think it's bad. This is pretty much irrelevant to the other person, mind you. And then we just start an argument about it, or we make a separate post about the other person and their post, and we don't think it's right, and we try to get people riled up. And for what? I mean, you're going to go pick it outside this person's house? It's empty. It's pointless, other than for the purpose of starting arguments. If I'm wrong, comment down below, and of course listen to what I'm saying, and then comment down below so I don't have to repeat it in the comment section, that I'm aware that judges, that's a whole job. That's a whole secular job to judge people. right? But if you don't have that job, what is the purpose of you impersonating a judge online? What is the point? Or if you have jury duty, I completely understand that. If you don't have jury duty, what's the point of impersonating jury duty online? You're dating someone, you know what I mean? If there's something that really affects you and you affect the other person, then yeah, I understand in those cases. I'm talking about just judging people you don't even know. That's like a church thing. That's a church thing where you judge people, not supposed to, but you judge people and you start gossiping about people, and oftentimes it's people you don't even know. And it's just filling empty time in church. But it's pointless, really. You know what I mean? Now, in church, it could be harmful in that person might be affected once it gets to the whole church. The gossip and the judging and all of that, and they feel like, okay, this church is not warm or welcoming. But we're talking about online, like we're not even in the same church. We don't even know each other. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of judging, and I don't know the purpose behind it. What's the point? We're not qualified to judge a person's mental state, psychological state, and or actions unless we have the training to do so, and we have the secular job that has afforded us that training to do so. If not, it's just random people playing judge for no real reason. I don't understand the purpose behind it. It seems to me like it would be a waste of time. Now, I'm trying to think of situations in which, you know, I would judge other people, but a lot of our community, you know, we're talking about things that affect us. We're talking about watchtower policies and child molestation, and we're talking about really serious things, not really just for the purpose of saying, hey, that's bad, or hey, that's good, or hey, I've judged that, but for the purpose of informing the public, you know, for the purpose of validating other people's experiences so that they don't feel alone, so that they understand that other people know and understand and are sympathetic and are there for support. Like, there's purposes behind what we do with regards to Watchtower. But just if I'm just having a discussion about, I'm trying to think of a person, maybe a celebrity or something to that effect, and someone is saying, hey, I think what they did is bad. Where do we go in this discussion? Okay, so now where do we do with your verdict? Where do we cast your verdict of what this person did was bad or good? It's just, it's aimless, it's pointless. I mean, we all know who Denzel Washington is. I'm trying to think of a name most people know. Will Smith. What if they play a role in the movie? Will Smith was just in Bad Boys 2. And, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, if you feel like Will Smith did something that was bad, I guess you could go not watch the movie. But otherwise, spending your time trying to figure out whether what people are doing is bad or good is pointless unless you're a judge or they're applying for a job with your company, then maybe go through their Facebook and try to figure out if they're bad or good. You know what I mean? It's like, I just don't understand the point. It literally seems like people were taught to judge in Watchtower so that they can, start gossip and shun people, and then leave Watchtower, but keep the judging, but have nothing really to do with it. And just start arguments online. I'm telling you, I think the key to, at least in my experience, getting along with a lot of people is by not applying a whole lot of pointless judging. If I'm online and I'm scrolling through and I see somebody who is going to church and they're talking about speaking in tongues, and I don't think speaking in tongues is a thing, there's no point in me judging this person as to whether or not this is good or bad, right or wrong. I can get on their post and just argue with them, but even that's pointless and a waste of time. It's just pointless to just argue with everybody that feels a different way about something. It's just pointless. Other than just arguing, just be arguing. Or judging just for the sole purpose of judging. I mean, it makes my day a whole lot less stressful not feeling or putting it upon myself to judge everyone. I'm just going to impersonate a judge and just judge everyone. Comment down below, because I want to know if I'm wrong and I need to be judging everyone, especially people I don't even know or know anything about. Let me know, and let me know the reason why, so I can start doing it. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it when I get a moment. We'll discuss it. I've got a few. Well, let's not just say a few. I've got quite a few voicemails, and what I end up doing is when I get time, I'll go through those voicemails and start trying to call back people. Then I'll delete the voicemail so that I know where I left off. And oftentimes I do this when I'm getting my exercise in, and while I exercise, I'll be talking, and we'll be discussing things. But this is something I would love to discuss. You can even come to my Facebook and let me know the purpose in all the judging, other than, especially after you've left Watchtower. And we're against the shunning, and the judging, I think, was primarily used just for the sole purpose of shunning. You would sit down in the hall and somebody would judge whether or not you commented or not. They would judge whether you went out in service after the meeting on Sunday. They would judge if you went in the hall and said you went and watched a certain movie. They would judge. I mean, it was just non-stop judgment. So maybe that's where a lot of it comes from. It's just a learned habit. So I understand that. Okay, it may just be a learned habit from Watchtower, just judging people and judging everything as to whether or not a person is good or bad. But after leaving Watchtower, what's the purpose of judging people who are not in your social circle, in the sense that you're really friends with them, or you really know them, or anything? It's just some person online, or something that happened on the news, and it's just, hey, that's good and that's bad. I mean, that decision that you have made, that that's good or that's bad, you can't do anything with that. It's pointless. It doesn't affect the person at all. It's pointless. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. I think it's just more stress-free, not just feeling the need to judge everybody. I feel I'm more stress-free. So comment down below. Let me know what you think. X Walk Kill Bethelite signing out.